Welcome to the University of North Carolina at Greensboro's Master of Science in Athletic Training Education program. I am Aaron Terranova. I am the clinical coordinator for the MSAT, and you are about to become a preceptor. These visual modules are designed to give you the background, knowledge, skills, and even some techniques that you can use to become an efficient and effective preceptor for MSAT students. I will be your guide throughout these modules, and I'll be located in the bottom corner of the YouTube video. Please make sure that you try to check out any external links I post in the bottom of the YouTube pages. These external links may be articles, case studies, other videos, blogs, etc., but they're going to be great supplemental resources to your preceptor training. Feel free to email me at the link below with any comments, questions, or concerns that you may have regarding this training, the MSAT, or really anything in general. Good luck to you and welcome to the MSAT. So welcome back to our preceptor training. We're over halfway through now as we go into module 3, which is qualities of effective preceptor. This is going to go basically hand in hand with module 4, which is going to look at more specific techniques, hints, or tips that you can use for your teaching and learning as a preceptor. There are a lot of research articles out there. I'm only going to highlight a couple of them, but there are a lot of articles out there, and I will try to include these in the YouTube link, directly links to these articles. But you can see all the different thoughts that these authors had to go into being a clinical supervisor or a preceptor, as we're calling it. And you can read these on your own, pause the video if you want and look through these. And you're going to see that a lot of these you're already doing. So it's basically validating what you're already doing as a preceptor. Again, some more articles coming down there in terms of the standards or the skills and the generalities of what makes a good clinical supervisor. Again, feel free to pause the video at this point, kind of look these over, and just kind of take a self-evaluation. Also, again, I'm going to try to include these as links to PDFs or to the web link down below. One article I thought was interesting, though, is this whole idea about the millennial learner. And most of our students, probably over 90% of our students, are going to be millennial students. And even you yourself, as a preceptor, may be a millennial student. But I thought this article was interesting, not because it was a great research article, but more because I thought they hit on a lot of good anecdotal points. And what this author looked at were what they called the 5 R's of the millennial learner. And again, if you're a millennial or if you're a baby boomer, if you're a Gen X, it doesn't matter. I think these type of tips can be useful with our students. And the first one is relevance. Make sure that you put some sort of relevance into the clinical education you're giving your student, and that really blends in well to rationale. Provide a rationale for it. And so if you take something as mundane as cleaning or filling up a water bottle, make sure you attach some sort of relevance and rationale for why they need to do it. Okay, it needs to be done, but why does it need to be done? Why do we need to clean our hydrox? Why do we need to clean our whirlpools? Besides just because it has to be clean. You can talk to them about MRSA outbreaks. You can show them examples of case studies of what happens when you have infection get spread through a team, etc. So provide those type of context for your student. The third one's I'm a little bit hesitant on because of the relaxed atmosphere, because I still want to make sure that we present ourselves as a medical profession, that we're being very professional, but you can still do that with a more relaxed type atmosphere. In other words, we still want them to be professional, but we can actually do it in a more relaxed atmosphere. And I'm going to let you as a preceptor kind of determine how you can make that work. Build a rapport with these students. There's nothing wrong with building up a nice rapport. I'm not saying that you have to go to lunch with them every day, but they want to see you as someone that they can approach with questions, comments, concerns, almost as a mentor. So please feel free to build a nice solid rapport with our students. And the research-based methods, this last R, I think it blends really well into our whole evidence-based practice that we do as athletic trainers. So make sure you put some of the research behind what you're doing. Again, I thought this was an interesting article. I think that these 5 R's can be implemented. I don't think they all have to be implemented, but I think you can use a couple of them, or at least keep them in the back of your mind as you're going through your clinical education with your student. This was a more research type article. It came out in the JAT. It's frustrations among graduates of athletic training education programs, and you can read here, these are the basic results which I've cut and pasted there. But if you really look at the conclusions, in order to reduce frustration, athletic training students should be validated by their pursuit to be athletic trainers. And I'm asking you as preceptors, please View athletic training as what it is. It's a great profession. You got into it for a reason. It should be a fun, engaging, passionate profession. We don't want to beat down these future professionals in athletic training by saying, "Oh, the hours are horrible, the pay is horrible, I hate my job, etc." If you really feel that way, let us know. And honestly, we won't use you as a preceptor because we want our students to be engaged and involved with what we consider to be engaging, passionate, and fun-loving athletic trainers. That doesn't mean you're going to be happy all the time in your job. We get that. We understand that. But we certainly want people who are going to support the profession, even if it is frustrating at times. So please, when you're out there with your student, try to let them know that this is still a great profession, that we love what we do, etc. One kind of switching gears, one thing that you also need to keep in mind to be an effective preceptor is that students nowadays, and some of you might even still be in this boat, are paying an exorbitant amount of college tuition, and they're coming out with tons and tons of debt. So the idea of 20 years ago where students could really be a full-time student and maybe have sort of like this little part-time job just on the side, that's not really the model anymore in college education. In fact, if you look at this article, 4 out of 5 college students are working part-time to pay bills. And that's going to extend into grad school also. They've probably been working all for their undergrad, and they're going to need to continue working for their graduate school. So we have to be aware, and we have to be more flexible with our clinical education. And I understand the frustration with that. I understand that academics need to come first, and I agree with all that. However, we also have to be aware that this is a completely different college atmosphere than maybe some of us have gone through. And that students nowadays need the flexibility to pay for bills, to take a part-time job, etc. And we tell them right up front that the job should not take precedent over their clinical education, or their academic education for that matter. But please understand that if they have 3 days off, that they might have to go and work part-time, that it's not that they don't care about their clinical site, that it's not that they don't care about their education. They actually need to do this to pay their bills, etc. So just be aware of that and be sensitive to the fact that, again, 4 out of 5 students, 88% of our students and a lot of our grad students are going to have to be working throughout their graduate program. So some last minute pros to kind of wrap this up. Treat all your students with respect. Remember that they still are students. They are not part of your workforce. They are actually students, and they need to engage in their academics also. They may be working jobs and doing their clinicals, so we have to be sensitive to that. We don't want to compare our students one another. Don't do that. Each student is there, and each student has their own unique set of skills. And please remember that you love what you do. You love being an athletic trainer. It is still a great profession. So please make sure that you share stories of happiness and wonderful memories that you have being an athletic trainer. How we actually evaluate you, more nuts and bolts here at UNCG. We will do a student evaluation of the preceptor. The students do that online. They do a clinical site eval also. Again, these are online, which I, as a clinical coordinator and our program director, will get to review. We have biweekly reports, which we'll talk about in Module 5 when we talk more about exactly how we do this. But biweekly reports every 2 weeks. You and the student will sit down and discuss how the 2 weeks went. I also get good feedback from the student then on interactions. And then I will be doing site visits, both formal and informal site visits throughout the year, throughout the semester. And I do meet with the student face-to-face throughout the semester. So we have a lot of communication back between the student and how things are going, and hopefully a lot of communication with me as a clinical coordinator and you as a preceptor. So that's kind of what goes into being an effective preceptor. We do assess it informally and formally throughout the semester. And hopefully some of these articles and some of these tidbits you can keep in the back of your mind and think about as you are moving through being a preceptor. So it is a team approach. We really want to make sure that you feel like you have a stake in this program. So if you have any hints, tips, or suggestions on what you think goes into being a solid preceptor, please feel free to either drop them in the comments below or send me an email. And so that's the end of Module 3, and this will, again, roll over very well to Module 4, where we will talk about maybe some specific techniques, hints, and suggestions for your teaching of your students. Until then, I'll see you